Okay, we are back live. And I swear these bots. Get out of here. Where's X? Some messages. I get your Discord thing. I saw a message somewhere. Oh, there it is. And was 4%. Try one update epoch. Haha. 330K. Very nice. I'll fix this shit for him. That's no big deal. That's easy. What the hell's this? Let me go check this one other thing, and then we'll get back to this. Oh, cool. Okay, cool. We are good. All caught up on messages. Believe. Good. Okay. Let's look at our experiments first. This seems like it actually kind of did something. Oops. This seems like it actually kind of did something, which I'm surprised, because I thought that this was really stupid. Okay, so let's see. So this is the one from before. This goes up to 2,900. So this doesn't quite get there. And it gets up to like here on the total time steps. And then if we look at this one, interesting. So this is still a very clean set of curves. And actually the time steps are nice too. It's got these like two divergent paths, which is a little weird. But it's not doing as well overall. Let's see why. This is like a very tight. This is very interesting. I didn't expect this out the gate. This is almost tighter than the other one, and this is like... This is more the shape that we want as well, where it's like a very quick ascent on total time steps. This discontinuity is a little weird, but you know, whatever. So batch size is correct. Mini batches doesn't go to 8. Okay, this gets stuck, which is weird. Learning rate is way off. It's very weird. Gamma's correct. Lambda is correct. Update epochs is correct. BPT horizon is correct. Numems gets stuck as well. That should be higher. And then cost is scaled nicely. Whoa, what the heck? Double Pareto front. Very clean, but then this doesn't make sense. You see? This is like beautifully clean. And then this one, this portion is fine, but then what is this right here? So it's got to be a quirk of the function we're using. Now, I didn't think it was a great function, but I don't know why it does this specifically. Let me see. So this is what we did, and I added a bias to this improvement term as well. The bias should just make it non-negative. It's a big bias, but that shouldn't matter. So I did improvement plus, let me make sure this is right. Yeah, so here's the improvement plus 100. This is conservative improvement. And then we have conservative absolute. And then the thing that I changed here, other than this bias, was that I added, or I divided by the cost estimate. So how does this work? Not this one. Where'd it go? So I divided by the cost estimate. So this is 12338 down here. This is a low cost it's low cost, but like it's not Pareto. So why does this get suggested? This is bizarre. Am I sure I don't have like multiple 334, 336? You know, these are from the same runs, right? So this 3, 4, yeah. And here it's like 4, 2. This is very, very weird. It's not sampling points on the curve. lower cost points. I want to do X. I don't know why this gets stuck, genuinely. Welcome, YouTube folks. This is redevelopment of a hyperparameter tuning algorithm. And we've got something that's really good on the synthetic test, but it's just, there are a couple last things that I'm not satisfied with yet. And one of them is the way that it scales to longer and longer experiments over time. Let me do this first, just to make sure that I'm not totally trolling. It's bizarro. Let me think in the meantime if I can figure out what this does. Oh, also, I'll not cover the chat. Yeah, it's decent. Acquisition value. So improvement gives you uniform sampling across the Pareto front, right? And it's just wherever you can improve the Pareto front. Now, this is annoying because if you have a perfect estimate of the Pareto front, it doesn't mean you can't sample, but it turns into uniform sampling, right? So if you have a perfect estimate of the Pareto front, you uniformly sample around existing Pareto points. You don't bias towards longer experiments. So the goal is, as you get more confident, which generally means that there are fewer places where you improve an expectation. That's fine. Okay, so it's off of the Pareto curve fit, really. All the sampling is done off the Pareto curve fit. It's not done off of your existing experiments. So let's say that you learn a good curve fit off of the quicker runs. Okay? Then what? So improvement becomes, let's say, uniform. It goes to 0, really, but we're going to add a bias to that. So let's say it's just uniform. Okay, so now you want to bias towards higher cost. No, you don't want to bias towards higher cost. You want to bias towards higher performance, which can be higher cost. So the absolute performance term does that already without doing the divide by cost. I remember not liking that for some reason, though. And the reason is if you have uncertainty across the whole front, then this can bias you towards high cost. The thing that you're trying to express here, right, is you want to move towards higher performance as you become certain. You want to move away from high cost as you're uncertain. Well, wait, you always want to go towards higher performance and away from high cost unless you're certain. I don't know about this divide by cost function. This is tricky. Okay, so your base is going to be I don't know about this either. Your base acquisition function is improvement times absolute performance. And that seems like that seems good. And then there should be a cost penalty. That reduces with model confidence. Is that good? So model uncertainty we have, that's just the variance in the cost prediction. I don't think this cost penalty term is well formulated. Does this even make sense what this is trying to do? I mean, you're probably pretty damn accurate on the cost of stuff. It's really easy to predict that. Does this bias really screwing up the algorithm? That'd be weird. Right? 50, this looks like it could be. We're at 52, 52,800. I think this was way better, right? Yeah, look at that. Even this one is better. And then we didn't even look at this one. This is a lot better. That's weird that that bias term would mess stuff up. I'll let it run a little longer just to be sure, but and time steps are interesting here. Well, this is, I mean, this is bad. This is too early to do this. Didn't explore batch, didn't explore anything. Yeah. So that's kind of weird. This is definitely bad. Okay, well, what if I get rid of this bias because let's just try this empirically. I have no idea if this should do anything. I don't honestly think it should. Cost, no bias. I honestly don't think that this should do anything, but we'll try it. I think you're still going to get the weird split. I mean, here's the other thing I can do, right? I can just look at, oh, this is the weird one. This one. So this is the best run that I have. It gets batch, mini batch. The only thing it screws up for whatever weird reason is it doesn't get the learning rate. It gets gamma nicely, it gets lambda nicely, it gets update epochs, horizon. This gets everything. The only two issues with this. So for whatever reason, it doesn't get learning rate, but a lot of them have that problem. And then the total time steps doesn't go up fast enough. This should really go up way faster because like this improvement is all just from time steps. I mean, that's a very simple experiment to run. To just like double the time step weighting. We'll run this first. I mean, something still feels wrong to me about this, though. Like, all I do is absolute performance times cost. I mean, absolute performance, this is all I do. By what mechanism does this control cost? There's literally no penalty for sampling longer and longer runs. Like early. How do you get 4,000 Ms on a CPU? These are all written in C. They run a million steps per second on one core minimum. So you literally just run them serially in a loop on one core. That's it. Nothing magic. Some of them are a little heavier, so we multi-process them. Maybe we use 2 cores for some of them, a couple of them a few more than that. But yeah, they're just really, really fast. They're not that hard to write either. We've got all sorts of brand new RL people contributing these. Like, I wrote Neural MMO, MOBA, and Snake. The rest of them are contributed by our users. I code review all of them and I edit them and stuff, but the main implementation is by contributors. I'm still not happy with the way that this algorithm interacts with cost. I think under this formulation, just this. So what is num_ems referring to in your sweep? On GPU, it's typically referred to the number of ems running. Yes, literally that. So we are running, it doesn't necessarily, they don't have to run in parallel though. Like you get a batch of 4,000 observations, but they're run in serial. It's just that they run so fast that you don't notice. Like our training will have 0%, 0 to 1% of the time spent running the environment. It's actually better than the GPU environments. A lot of them, because they waste time running, they waste GPU time running the environment. A lot of the GPU implementations are actually slower than our CPU implementations. Which makes sense. Like GPUs are not designed to run arbitrary logic. They're not. CPUs are designed to run arbitrary logic. Like the only reason that people have gone crazy over GPU environments outside of like high fidelity physics is because like researchers really want to write Python, and it turns out if you just write stuff in C, it's faster. I'm being a little bit facetious here. Like we did some additional optimization. There's some fancy shared memory stuff. But if you look at the code, it's really easy to write these things. Like the CPU environment code is dramatically simpler than GPU environment code. Like compare Puffer environments to like JAX environments, it is so much less painful to write our CPU environments, and they're faster. I'm really not happy with the way that this... I'm pretty sure what's happening here, as lame as this is, I'm pretty sure what's happening is just total time step starts out low, and it just takes a while because the standard deviation of the search space for this parameter is so low. It just takes a while to increase it. So like, essentially, it's just you have until the algorithm bumps this parameter up too much, because it's going to bump this parameter up because it gets better perf out of it. So you just have it until it bumps this parameter up to hopefully fit all the other parameters, which like it happens to do in this case relatively well. There are a couple quirks. That's not how it should work. It should have an explicit mechanism for increasing cost as it becomes what? Confident? Yeah, confident. I mean, I guess that is actually what happens, to be fair, because we have a conservative bound on stuff, right? Wait a second. We have a conservative bound. If it's written in C, can you not like write a wrapper M that runs multiple versions of the environment across threads, or is it just not necessary? We have vectorization as well. Yeah, we do. We have the best multiprocessing out there, in fact. So yes, you can run 1,000 environments per core, and you can run on 16 cores if you'd like. In fact, we do that for a few of our environments that are a little slower, or not even a little slower. They have more bandwidth, really. But most of our environments are just so fast that 1 or 2 cores and you're good. Mostly the ones the ones that are slower just because we're using like fancy opponent AI that takes a while to compute. We'll get to improving those though. I mean, you can go read any of our environments. They're all open source and they're one file a piece. They're super simple. Like people go, C, I don't want to read C. It's really easy C. Like look at this. So PufferLib, Ocean, Snake. So this is massively multi-agent Snake. I think this runs like, I don't know, 5-10 million steps a second. This is the whole code, 300 lines. This is logging. This is the struct. Here's some initialization. Here's your observation function. Delete snake, spawn food, reset, step, and rendering. That's it. That's the whole environment. And then there's this. This just binds it to, this is just an intermediary that binds C to Python via Cython. It also runs the loop over like multiple copies of the environment and sets up buffers and stuff. And then snake.py is just a tiny little stub that has, the binding. That's it. There's no magic. And they all look like this, pretty much. Like Neural MMO is one of the most complicated RL environments out there, and it's one file. It's going to be 3,000 lines, 2,800 lines, but it's like one file of really simple code. So this scales as well. You can go from very, very simple environments to very, very complicated environments like this, and they'll all be fast. Neural MMO 3 is like 1.9 million steps per second on one core. It's a fun time. Come write some environments with us. This year is a somewhat less fun time. This is a bunch of math, and it's hurting my head today. But it's very important. So I will do it. There is kind of implicitly a time management thing in here. So the absolute performance is going to bias you towards longer runs, but only if you're confident because it's a conservative bound. And because you start off running shorter runs, you're not allowed to run longer runs until you're confident. So I don't think you need to actually penalize cost. I think you already have cost penalized. You have it penalized via uncertainty. Because it's not actually bad to run high-cost experiments. It's only bad to run high-cost experiments that you're wrong about and don't do well. You want to run higher and higher cost experiments. In fact, you want to run the higher cost experiments ASAP, as soon as you're confident in them. I could experiment with an even more conservative bound. I could do 2 standard deviation bound. That's like a really conservative bound, right? Does that do anything for you? Maybe. Let's see what this one is. I don't think that this is done very well. Let's check. I'd be surprised. It's theoretically, it's poorly motivated. It's possible empirically it does okay. Where did I put it? I have way too many freaking windows. Let's just close some of these. I need this. Where'd my windows go? How'd I get over there? Okay. So 1200 at 75 experiments. Where's our Pareto from? The hell? There it is. Alright, clean Pareto front, but I think that this is just lower perf overall. This is what, 1200 at... Yeah, it's 1200 at like 79 versus... Where's it? Yeah, so this is the worst one, and it's still worse than this. This one. Yeah, there we go. So this is just not that good. Not very good. Which is expected because this doesn't make any sense. So get rid of this. And let's just increase some parameters. This could potentially change quite a bit. So this is our best right now. And this is like almost perfect. It could literally just be tuning some scale parameters from here, to be honest. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Well, these are going to be too long to start with, potentially. I think you start the time even lower, but with a bigger scale, maybe. It's a little tricky to do that. Dynamically growing the cost is difficult. Yeah, dynamically growing the cost will be difficult. Let me think. So the difficult thing here is, if I just do this based around like total time steps, right? The initial samples are going to be around that time scale. The initial samples are going to be like randomish. So I mean, if I do like 100 I don't want to start at 100 million, but be randomly sampling 500 million. That's going to take for frickin' ever. You really want a better way of dynamically growing the compute. You really want a much better way of dynamically growing the compute. Well, to be fair, I think the current thing I have is it's really just the initialization that's difficult, right? Like, because I think that the method I have at the moment, it should actually work very well. It's just keeping the cost low to begin with. You could penalize cost, uncertain cost, actually. If you penalize cost when there is uncertainty, that could fix it. Yeah, I think that actually might be the way, because that will prevent you, that will like push your, that should push your runs to the bottom of the time scale at the start of training. Wrong Claude window. Cost penalty. This is cost times this looks better. Cost max of 1, cost variance over cost. So this is a lot. So if the variance is a lot, isn't it cost times cost variance? Claude is stupid. Claude is really stupid. I mean, the people saying that like this is good, it says more about the people, the people than it does about Claude. Because like, oh, you're not prompting it right. No, it's just wrong. Hey, welcome. Bitching about math and the code and stuff. I've been working on this hyperparam algorithm all day. It's been a lot of math. It's hurt my head a whole bunch. We're very close to having it. There's just a couple last tweaks. Actually, this run here is looking pretty good. Just gets, yeah. I mean, mostly checking to make sure I'm not doing utterly stupid things. But then the thing is, it gives me utterly stupid things in reply. So at least it checks that I'm paying attention. But like, it's giving me the opposite. I've asked it like for very simple formulas, and it's giving me the opposite like 5 times in a row. Oh wait, clip. Variance. Oh, wait, hold on. Did my message get lost? Yeah, sometimes Restream eats messages. If you don't see it here, I don't see it. Let me see. Yeah, it doesn't even show up in the other chat window. So if your message isn't there, I don't see it. Is this function dumb? When I open Twitter, yeah, I don't think I have Claude muted. I have cursor muted as a keyword because the cursor people are even worse. It's like, I don't know how to program, but now I must be a genius because I can type things into a language model. My favorite is the like, oh yeah, we're gonna replace the programmers because we use cursor. It's like, dude, you couldn't even learn how to program. You think that you think that because you're typing things into a language model that there's actually some skill involved in typing things into there's not. There's no skill involved in using a language model. There isn't. At least not relative to literally any other, like anything else. And not only that, if there is any skill, it will rapidly decrease in value as the models get better. Because you will no longer have to coax them into doing the thing you want. They will just do it. It's very funny. But it's okay, because in the Puffer Discord, we write RL environments in C. That generally scares away the people that don't actually want to think. Which is very funny because it's not very difficult. It's actually great writing these ends in C. It's like really easy and really fun and really fast. Decreasing value part, yeah. Of course. I mean, you think prompting is going to be a thing forever? No, it's an artifact of the models sucking. As the models get better, if you ask a question in any remotely sane way, it will give you the same answer. I mean, like, if you ask a smart person a question in, like, any way that makes sense, they're going to understand what you mean, and they're going to give you, like, at least a decent answer. These things are not hard to intuit. I don't know. I just generally try not to interact with the language model space very much. Particularly not the language model wrapper space. Try to convert some old Rust code into Python via Claude and just gave me a headache. Try our C stuff. I do not like Rust. I am not a Rust enjoyer. Rust is very complicated, it gets in my way, and it gives me headaches and makes me think too much. C is very simple, it's very fast, it does not get in my way, and it is so easy. I very much like C. I don't know if this cost penalty makes sense. You probably should have this be continuous function as well. I had a flow of compiling it ready. So that's why I used it. Since I haven't used it for a few years, come back and it's not been fun. If you're trying to do fun RL things, come look at our Puffer code. You will have more fun. I also don't recommend converting to Python. I liked Python when I started using it. I still like it as an intermediary layer, but honestly, these days, it's literally easier and faster to write C than Python. It took all of 2 weeks to get used to it, and then it was easier. Literally, the only thing you need to know is that the fsanitize flags exist. Tried to hack it together because I wanted to remove the rusty. Yeah. Rust is like, man, you know what Rust reminds me of? Rust reminds me of when I ran Arch Linux on like a crazy water-cooled desktop for 4 years in undergrad, until eventually one day I installed an update without checking it. It crashed the entire system and bricked it. Like, that's what it reminds me of. It's like a very tricky technical thing for people who want to play around with tricky things until it ultimately bites you and you decide that you want things to work. I no longer like tricky problems. I like simple things that solve important problems. Every so often, I have to do something moderately complicated to solve an important problem, like what today. But I try to keep those few and far between because this has been truly exhausting. hmm You still learn tons and you still get tons of stuff done. I've improved more in the last year and I've gotten more done in the last year than in the last several years. I mean, it's really been. We've shipped 20,000 lines of code in the last update with PufferLib. 20,000 lines of C. And now with this, we're hopefully going to ship the best hyperparameter algorithm. We'll see how well this transfers off the synthetic benchmark to the real RLMs, but I know I'm confident. This run I'm looking at here on above me is also looking pretty good. Since finding your repo a bunch ago, I feel like I learned a bunch of stuff, right? Hey, I mean, hang out in the Discord. Like, I'm in there and voice half the time in the evenings if I'm not on the stream. And there are lots of people there just building cool RL environments. It's the best way to get into this stuff. I review all, if you want to contribute EMs, by the way, like I code review every single contributed EM live on stream. It's what you get if you contribute one. Cost times cost variance. I'm just going to describe it and see if Claude's really this stupid. Actually, might. We'll see, though. Hey, up to you. And yeah, folks, please do star Puffer on GitHub. It really helps me out a ton. It's free. I gave Claude certain custom instructions, then it added an additional sentence to the start, as per your instructions. What the hell is this? What? No. This is so dumb. Already started. Very good. The Puffer thanks you for your support. He eats stars, you know. Feed the Puffer. Maybe it doesn't have to be a continuous function. You know? Yeah, it would be better if it were. It's gotta be like... It's gotta be like max 1. And then like... I'm not reading that shit anyways. Max 0. This it. What do you want this function to do? I want it to be a cost penalty. It should penalize you if your cost is... It should penalize you for selecting a high cost when you have high uncertainty about the cost. So the function has to go to 1 when your cost certainty, which is the standard deviation, is below a specific threshold. And then it has to be a continuous function that scales up based on the cost from there. This is close. The only thing is that this is... It does require you to subtract the threshold from the scaling factor. Why would you square it? That's a max of 0 in standard deviation. Does that work? I don't know if that works. If that does work, then I'm incredibly tired for not figuring that out. Let me see. But I don't think it does. So cost times the max. Yeah, that's a bad idea. You should keep it linear. There's no reason to square that. I've been staring at this map all day. Well, the only thing there is the standard deviation minus the threshold. I think you have to divide by threshold if you do that. No, we're not fucking exponentiating it either. Fuck that. I think it might be, hold on, cost times max. Does this do it? If thresh is 0.5, I think that fixes the thing where, because you subtract the threshold. Well, because you're scaling it down by subtracting the threshold from the standard deviation. Right, you have to do that to have the threshold, but you're scaling down the standard deviation. I guess, wait, the 1 plus kind of covers it. Does that do it? I think we'll try this. How's this sweep going? It looks like this one's going pretty damn well. What in the fuck? So this is better than before. This is better than my previous best, but it's got this weird artifact. So this got to 2,900 by the very end. It's developed by SF bros who think they're very high EQ. It's literally like these language models are developed by the most out of touch people you will ever meet. Okay, so this is actually great right here. This is like fantastic. But this is weird as fuck. So okay, so this is very good right here, so that it latches on to, you see how quickly it transitions now to high time steps? This is very good. I've seen this before, but not with this acquisition function. So yeah, batch size immediately gets this, immediately gets mini batches. Learn rate is much closer, actually. Yeah. Much closer. This is spot on. So that's somehow fixed. Gamma is also fixed. Lambda is bizarre. There's always one parameter off. It's weird. Lambda's way off. Lambda's supposed to be 0.95, so I have no idea how it drifts like this. We can adjust the scales and shit, though. Update epochs is good. BPT horizon is good here. NumEms is good here. I don't know why it's down here. This is very weird. These ones are good. And then cost is like this. Oh wait, but this is actually a Pareto front. I thought it was going to give us the weird curve again, but this is actually good. Yeah, this is actually very good. So these points here, AB 12, 277, like, this is very, very nice for a Pareto front here. I don't know why there's nothing here. I guess because it's so confident about the Pareto front that it just doesn't have to. But yeah, that's basically perfect. You can see it's at max cost. Oh, you know what this is? I know what this is. This is resampling Pareto points. Okay, I'm dumb. Okay, this is resampling Pareto points. There's a resample argument to carbs that will randomly resample a Pareto point. That's all this is. So this is a benchmark that's now, I don't know if it's full solved is the only thing. It's almost full solved, but it missed one parameter, learning rate. Let me try this, this cost penalty. I don't even think we need this, to be honest now, because this is so good, but so surrogate model outputs. How many runs are we at? Are we almost done with this? I can just do this in a separate tab, right? Props. Takes so long. My breakpoint. I could have just set the args to be faster. Okay. So where's the cost? Cost estimate? Cost circuit model outputs. Cost? Where the hell is cost variance? Still in Florida? Yep. I'm gonna be here a while. I come back to California when it gets too hot here or whatever. And there's a new facility even before then. There's a new facility I've got to set up with the servers for Puffer. Yeah, also that. It's going to literally be like 6 months of hard training to get my health back. I lost 18 pounds in like 4 weeks. Or 3 weeks even. I got some dumbbells here that I'm waiting until Monday to lift so I don't hurt myself after the antibiotics and stuff. And I've got a nice power rack coming in a few weeks. Can we talk about the new facility? Do you have the engineering design? It's pretty well covered. It's going to have 20 standard outlets. The power will be good for 2 boxes per outlet, so 40 box capacity. Air conditioning is all handled. We've got a guy that's done server setups before for it. Yeah, it's pretty well set. Well, no, he's just planning like the AC and the AC and stuff. No, that's just like the cooling and stuff of it to make sure that we have sufficient AC. Um, I mean, it's not crazy complicated because they're desktop class machines. You just need 20 outlets, sufficient power. We got a good UPS for it with some power conditioning. It's not really a ton of network shit. There's really not a ton of network shit to do. They're individual boxes. We're still not planning on wiring them together. There needs to be network shit. There definitely needs to be better monitoring on the boxes, but that's just what we stick on the Docker images or the base machines. If we need network, look, if we need network shit, well, I'll just get Linky, right? If there needs to be network shit, I'll get Linky, right? I'll ask him if he thinks there's gonna be. I'll ask him the next time we're on voice if he thinks there's gonna be anything substantial to do. But the thing is, like, they're not networked like servers would be networked, bet. Like, we're not sticking AFS on them. They don't need high speed like multi-machine interconnects. I mean, I'd like to get a 10 gigabit connection. I don't know if we can even get a 10 gigabit connection there, though. Order for functional. I mean, the main thing that's gone wrong with the small cluster is just the microcode bullshit. Right? And I'll talk to Linky the next time we're in voice. Slow internet. Well, I don't know what we're going to be able to do about that. I don't know if we can get 10 gigabit out there. I might have to bandwidth optimize. I mean, really the only thing that you do is Wanby or Neptune, which I can bandwidth optimize Puffer for that just by packing stuff tighter. There's internet. There's at least a gigabit. I just don't know if we get 10 gigabit. Yeah, I can do Starlink, but I think that's worse. I can get it as a backup, no problem, though. Look, we'll talk. Let me finish this. This is important. What the fuck is... Where's the cost variance here? Where the hell's the cost variance? Nah, target var is different, right? Yeah, see, this is surrogate to surrogate output. Oh wait, log cost var. Can I just call this on the variance? I probably can, right? Ooh, look at this. Very, very good. 3,200. That's a new record. Who is messaging me in Discord? Bet I can tell you what this is. Good job. Yeah. I mean, that's freaking good, right? Not this one. Yeah, that's real good. Now, I don't know what it is at the very end. Let's see what it discovers at the very end. This is fine. The gamma, oh, I guess it fits gamma. Oh, it fits gamma and lambda a little bit better at the very end. So we got to figure out why these things don't fit properly. Like it misses a few parameters for too long. This is close to optimal though. What env is this? This is the synthetic test. This has cost variance. Weird. Okay, we'll figure this out. I think it's 3,000 something. It's pretty close to what we're at. Like I said, it's just a synthetic test, but still. Oh. You see? I wouldn't get too excited yet. This could just be like randomness that doesn't scale. But to give you an idea, Bet, like original Carbs was getting maybe a third of max score in 200 runs, and it was like hard plateaued at a third of max score. So we have dramatically improved this algorithm. At least on the synthetic task, right? We're assuming that it transfers. If this actually transfers to our other environments, we'll have solved hyperparam sweeps for RL. or at least like improved it several fold in the course of a day and a half. I get a high score. I think it's 3,500. I think I checked. I can double check in a bit, but I think it's like 3,500. Like I said, it's a synthetic task. So, I mean, all it does is it assigns optimal values to the hyperparameters. It defines like absolute value distance penalty from those parameters, and then it sets some scaling parameters for cost. It's roughly models an RL problem, but there's no noise in it. So all your estimates are perfect. I think we're not going to need this extra little bit here. I think we're just going to tune parameters and be good. I mean, potentially this cost penalty is kind of a reasonable thing to do. But like, do you really need it? Okay, I think this is worse. The way it biases cost isn't amazing, but it's decent. This is just a test. Yeah, this isn't great. I mean, the Pareto front looks pretty nice. It is doing low cost runs, which is what you want. Lambdas fit correctly. Gammas fit correctly. Learning rate is kind of fit correctly. Might want to give it a little time. It's actually kind of doing the correct thing here. So the goal here is you don't just take into account score here. Ideally, what you want is you want your algorithm to run a ton of really fast experiments until it's very confident that it understands how all the hyperparameters scale. And then it runs like a couple mid-scale experiments to make sure that its fit is correct. And then it runs the big experiments quite quickly. So you want to spend most of your experiment count on fast experiments. It shouldn't need early stopping. You could technically do it, but the thing is, it's cost aware, so it's supposed to actually supposed to do that itself. Early stopping is more for random search and such. Okay, I mean, there's potentially more to do with cost variance. Is it working? These higher cost runs aren't translating to better perf. I mean, the ideal algorithm is going to run a bunch of experiments at 50 mil. Yeah, so this does not work. That's fine. We'll go back to the old one. So this should be good. Okay. So maybe one more experiment. Let me just go look at the parameters real quick. See if I can figure something out. You total time steps. It's at 0.5, right? Yeah, these look fine. I don't know why it gets stuck in weirdly, weird spots. Possibly needs more random trials, to be honest. That might be a decent idea. I want to make sure I'm on the right track at the very least first. Oh, this is still running breakout. Lol. It's funny. No wonder there's so many freaking breakout results. Let me make sure. Good thing I caught that. Okay, we'll see what this does. And actually, we can adjust total time steps. We can adjust total time steps. We will try this for Palm. We shall see. Are you aware of some resource on how Python executes C and Python code? what calls it makes. Not very versed in this. What calls? Just check our repository if you're looking for how to bind stuff to see. Like, every single one of these environments is an example. Like, look. So we have, here's breakout. You import the Python file, right? And the Python file includes the .h from C. So Python serves as an intermediary that also runs the loop over environments. And then as for how this gets compiled, right, for local compilation, for testing in pure C with no Python, we've got buildocean.sh. And then for binding to C, we have static linking in setup.py. So this gets statically linked in setup.py. And you have the the extension and the arguments here. So I had a weird suspicion that my module is having performance issues due to type conversions. Tuples. Well, yeah, we don't pass tuples back and forth to C. You have to go through the stupid PyObject API for that. We use NumPy arrays, and then you pass NumPy arrays through Python, and you actually end up passing them as pointers. So you'd populate memory just directly through C pointers, and there's zero overhead, zero conversion. This is all in the example environments. If you read like any single one of the example environments, you'll see exactly how we do everything. Oh, this didn't log. My bad. Actually, hold on. Eh. Be able to find something there. I'm aware of passing buffers. For args, I'm a bit confused. My case is not exactly running ems. The TLDRs, you don't want to go through the PyObject API very often if you have to go through it at all. Love that you're still going after this hard. Well done. Thank you. Yeah, this is gonna be. This is all I'm doing. We are going to fix reinforcement learning. It will be fixed. It will be painful to get done, but it will happen. Okay, so now we have neocarbs running breakout and running Pong. So this may require some fiddling, but this should be a decent benchmark. This will be 400 experiments. Then what? I mean, if I actually can solve reinforcement learning, I should literally be solving hundreds of problems around industry and making a huge impact on the overall state of AI. You'd imagine that I make a fair bit of money along the way there. It'd be pretty hard not to if I actually get that working properly. And if somehow that still doesn't get us to long-term like super intelligence or whatever, then I don't know, I'll pick the next cursed area of science to fix, right? And start another lab around that with even less reason to have it be profitable. Pretty much just that. But for the time being, I'm focused on fixing RL, growing Puffer as a company, releasing good code, pretty much that. And getting my damn health back. Geez, pneumonia kicked my ass. Made it, though. Made it. Has to be pointers to matrix data. What? You just do a flat array. It doesn't matter how many dimensions your array has. It's just a flat buffer pointer in C. That's not an issue. Exactly. Read it as you wish. C is just a great language. I love me some C. Python, not bad either. Binding Python to C and getting them to play nice together is kind of a pain in the ass. Oh yeah, no, there are totally direct Python and C bindings. That's a thing. Usually you end up having to stick shitty Python API stuff into your C though. Or you have to end up sticking a bunch of types information into your Python. So that's why we have the intermediary layer. We use it as the loop over M's, and we use it to hide all the stupid conversion logic so it doesn't pollute our Python or pollute our C. Where are they? It's just C types. You can just do it with C types. I don't think it's worth it based on what I know now. I could be wrong, but you can do it. Look at that. Neocarbs. Pretty much everything to NumPy array and then pass the buffer is usually the best way to go. It's really easy that way. You can even pass like specific starting points as NumPy slices. It's pretty nice. I'm home from drinking wine in Napa. Gonna hack. Have a good night. See you Monday. Thank you. See you around. I don't drink much anymore. I don't have any fun, really. I just gotta do all this. Yeah. Again, look at our Python for this. We do this everywhere. Like, our stuff is kind of even fancier than that. We allocate a giant tensor of observation buffers in shared memory, and then we split the offsets to that shared memory buffer across cores. And then on each core, we split that portion of shared memory across individual environments and give all those individual pointers to different C structs. And then all of these different environments, like 4,000 environments or whatever, on different cores, just right into contiguous memory. And it's just perfect. That's how Puffer is so fast with all this stuff. It's quite nice. Where's the shared memory stuff implemented in Puffer? In the multiprocessing, vector.multiprocessing, you can look at it. We do have, as far as I'm aware, we have the fastest general vectorization implementation for reinforcement learning. It's a very nice implementation. It supports Gymnasium, it supports Petting Zoo, and it supports our native N format even faster. Only a few hundred lines. Took a lot of work. Has a bunch of nice tricks. And if you're interested in reading about it, there's I have a blog post on puffer.ai. If you just click the blog, that describes all the optimizations in there. There's also the white paper. It's there as well. This is biasing towards too fast of runs, I guess. Let's see what that does. This is nice. Oh, there you go. Enduro, you cut 780 lines. Might not be working. Switching in it and reset. But yeah, go figure out what you broke. What's the current length of Enduro? It's going to be funny because you're eventually going to get it down to roughly the length that I expected when I gave you the project. Okay, 1400 is still more than I expected to give you. I was hoping to give you like an 800 line project. Maybe it won't get to 800. That's kind of ambitious. I mean, if I did it, maybe I could get it to 800. That'd be pretty tight, though. Maybe more like 1,000. 2,300. Well, the 2,300 was ridiculous. Now you're at least like reasonably close, I'd say. I could definitely make it 1,200. I don't know about lower than that. If I really went through your logic. I'm pretty confident. Exactly. It's like, come on, you look at my other code. I've spent like a day and a half on this, and it looks like we're gonna revolutionize hyperparameter tuning. And get a lot done pretty quick when I'm locked in. I'm hoping that this works on these ends. We will see. I'm not too bothered that this is taking a bunch of initial runs because I set it to very, very fast runs. We'll see though. Use it on a real app. That's what I'm doing. I got Pong and Breakout here. These are both running. I got these running on 2 boxes. The Breakout run should be longer and more stable. The Pong is like a quick test. I don't mind if Pong takes a ton of runs because the runs are really quick. These are literally like 10 to 20 second experiments. There we go. Oh, look at that. We got a 11 million step run that's already at 12 score. All right, that looks nice. is 8:45. I mean, this is, look at the time steps it's launching. We train for 20 million in our baseline, okay? So it's launching really cheap experiments here. This was an intentional test to see if you can bootstrap off really cheap experiments. The breakout ones will be substantially more expensive. Look at that, it's already at 80 though, with this one. I want to see how this behaves. We're gonna see over time. Yeah, that's a great thing to do. Actually, here, we'll do a quick session on the Discord. It'll be on stream, but I'll hop in the Discord real quick while I like slowly fall into this chair, exhausted. Cool. Is desktop audio on? Should be. Gotta go lift so I can get those bass, dude. These used to be good. Like these used to be pretty impressive. It's all gone. It sucks.
I guarantee, Joseph, you are way stronger than Jeff Bezos.
Well, yeah, but still. We'll be back. We'll be back curling 40 soon enough.
Please don't push it.
Nah, it'll take a few months. Where's Spencer?
Yeah, where the fuck is he?
Bros, chill.
Hey.
Actually,
here, while you do that, I'm gonna go grab a drink because I'm dehydrated. So let me go grab a drink. Be right back.
I'll link in general chat. You're good.
Yeah.
What up, Bet?
Yo, I don't know. Worked all fucking day. Got a lift.
I think I did the 3D cone right. Not 100% convinced, but
Yeah, well, we're about to find out, right? You said you're gonna link in general chat. I don't see it though.
The voice chat, the voice channel general.
And they gotta rename that or fix it.
I think you can rename any of these like in a second. I mean, I think you could just call it like voice chat for like.
I've got mod, but I have no mod powers, so. I don't know if that was intentional. It's a little confusing. Like the actual options in Discord are like pretty difficult to understand. I asked my kid to be quiet. He leaves and shuts the door right away. Good kid.
Right.
All right, I linked it in the voice chat.
I'm reading it now.
It's frankly
pretty good. Let's see the voice chat. Yeah.
Should I guess pop up on Twitch to watch what you're doing and then just mute the volume? I guess pop up. Yeah, I'll just do that.
Or yeah, that's probably best.
Oh, here it is. Tower climb at the bottom.
Good. I got up at like 8, and I've just been coding this thing.
You got up at 8? Because I saw you were streaming at like.
What was I streaming?
Like.
I'm pretty early.
Super early. Like.
I've been streaming for a minute.
6:45.
Well, was it 6:40? I don't think I was up that early.
No, I think it was.
13 hours. It
6:46.
says 13 hours ago.
It's 6:46 was the time. I have the email.
Okay.
I can prove it.
So it's 13 hours ago, and I've been fucking
So
doing
that's
this. Aside from
7:46
a short
your time.
walk and meals, I've been streaming and coding the whole time.
The whole time. Mhm.
So, I mean, I got a lot done though. Like I redid half the math of carbs.
Yeah, I
So, where's the Discord channel? Freaking. There we go. I redid half the math of carbs in that time. Okay, so what do we have here? We've got.
Really just super simple, I think.
I think layer init will still work on this. We'll see. So, you have one. Is it one channel by default? Okay. CNN channels. 3, stride 1. What's the size of the window?
6 by 6 by 8.
Yeah, then this is good. Do this. What's this size? Oh, okay. So this is it. You compute it here. So this is 32, 128, 256. Okay, this is a little big. I might make this CNN. I might cut this in half.
Go 128.
Well, because this is, look, this is 32 times for
Yeah.
128, 256, 512. So that's getting a little big. I might do this one. I could do 16 instead of 32, and then it would be 256.
256.
I mean, you try both of them because that might screw it up because it's not that many channels, but we'll see. Then you have flattened. The heck is this? A flat.
It's the player obs.
Yeah, you can do this. I always, with these projection layers, I'm always tempted to just like feed this into the LSTM, but I think there's some quirks if you try to do different input and hidden size for the LSTM. So this is fine. And then this, assume that you copied this and these two standard deviations are correct. And if so, that's fine. Encode observations, board,
And if you look,
player, view. Hopefully you've checked this to make sure that this is in the correct order.
okay, so I wanted to talk to you about that. In the case of this puzzle environment, would it materially matter if it's like 6 by 8 by 6 or 6 by, what, any combination of this, because it's just being passed in as one giant 1D? Like, will
Yes,
it
it does matter. Because you're taking that 1D data and you're restructuring it into 3D. Have you ever like fucked up image processing and like transpose like the rows and columns or whatever, and you just get like a corrupted mess?
I'm gonna assume like one time, like,
I've done that.
Yeah, you need to actually just like open this thing, like go look at this thing and make sure that this is the observation that you expect.
okay.
And
Actual
this
picture.
network is fine. Wait, what? Oh yeah, network flat, and then you proj. Cat proj. This is fine.
And then I made a slight LSTM modification to make the input 256. That was something that I had to do in order for it to work.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, what
That's
happened
fine.
when before? What, like it didn't work with 128?
So the default of the LSTM and if you're under recurrent is expects a 128 input, so you have to make a
Did
super
you try it
class.
with 128 first, or did you just go to 256?
Well, I tried to just run it without having like the super class, and then
Well, you have to change this hidden size has to be 128 if you're going to do that.
but no, okay, no, I haven't tried it with 128. I just tried it with 256 to start.
You should try both. If 128 works, it'll run faster and be better.
Yeah, so at 256, it actually during this I tried to train some and it did start to learn, so I hopefully presume that means that a lot of things are working.
Well, that could be the comps, not the 256. You don't know.
Sure.
Yeah,
But what I was
actually,
gonna say
yeah,
is the
curves.
speed. The speed got tanked.
yeah.
How long is
Uh,
it? How fast is it?
560 from 1 million plus.
Oh,
And how big is the
oh,
net?
690K
It's
parameters.
about right.
you.
Yeah, it's
You
about right.
mean?
You made a bigger network. What do you expect?
Well, I wouldn't expect it to cut it in half. But then
What do you
again,
mean you wouldn't expect to cut it in
but
half? You went from 150K parameters to 600K.
it's
Like,
because
yeah.
it's basically like mostly network that's taking up the time. So I suppose it should be.
Yeah, my end is 0%. Everything is in train.
Yes, that was
Pretty much.
impressive.
Yeah, so the net's a little big is all.
Okay, so secondary question
3D
here.
comps are
Okay,
expensive.
I mean, this is pretty much hard coded for level 1. How would you recommend I set it up to do dynamic based off of the level sizes? The level sizes change from level to level. Like, it won't necessarily always be a 6x6x8. It could
Yeah, you
potentially
don't
be
do
like,
global ops, you do local ops.
That's frightening.
You give it a 3D crop around the player.
okay, so just do some reasonable crop.
Yep. Up
New
to
game.
yeah, you're gonna have to
Please.
play around with how big, how far you need to see. You should
Right.
probably just figure out like if you play the game, how far you need to see in order to actually still play it. So a little trade off there.
So here's kind of like a slightly weird part, right? Because like when you're playing the actual game, like visually you can determine, I guess, some degree of depth when you're looking at it. I mean, you for sure need to see like the full width of the screen, and then, I mean, you can argue that you don't need to see entirely up, but I guess
You don't
okay,
see
you could probably,
entirely up in the game. You don't see the whole thing in the game. The camera's kind of zoomed in.
in the puzzle mode of which this is kind of extracting some levels from, you can you can see pretty close, but I get what you mean. I'll make a window that seems pretty reasonable, and then
Probably like I don't know, 5 or maybe 7x7 by whatever.
yeah,
the
and then
depth.
sure. And so instead of having it
7x7.
centered on player, I would presume I'd center it like maybe like 2 above player, because you really don't need to look at below you, realistically.
You can do that.
And that would all be within the env logic, right? That
Yeah.
during that.
Well, it's all in compute observations. Is all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I could do that and then run a fresh sweep, nuke all the the previously kind of somewhat understood parameters, because now we're on a 3D conv.
You
In terms of the bounding.
You can keep your parameters, and then what you do is you make the graphs in the dashboard, and you see if the best runs are at the edge of any of your ranges. And if they're at the edge of your range, then you have to expand the range.
Okay,
You know what I mean
that
by
works.
that?
I mean, I presume if like all of the parameters it's shooting for are all like, say if I set a range from 0.9 to 0.95 and all of them are at 0.94999,
Yeah, exactly
then
that. Yeah.
then expand it. So I can do that. From an early test, I did notice that it was able to achieve a higher score in a much quicker time frame, but it has not been able to beat the game yet.
It has not been able to what? You are far away and quiet.
Yeah. The local ops crop might actually help you.
One thing that I was thinking about in terms of like a reward engineering thing, and was, what if I rewarded it for various patterns that like the game shows you as like useful techniques, instead of just like the most basic, like saying like you get rewarded for going up and you get penalized for going down.
Yeah,
It's
great
probably too
idea.
complicated, to be honest. I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't bother hacking that much. I think you'll just get it. And if you want to spend time on anything, you might do like the random level stuff. That'd probably be fun for you.
Sure.
Reward
At
hacking
least-
shit for weeks is just not fun or useful.
Yeah, I mean, I at least want to see if I can get this to beat at least the first level pretty cleanly, easily,
Yeah,
and then
you'll get there.
see how well it does on maybe like 2 or 3 levels, and then I'll mess with the PLG stuff where you just like dunk in like 10,000.
Well, hopefully this sweep stuff is better. We'll see.
Oh,
It's
what's
kind
up
of nice.
with that score?
Mind you, these cores aren't great yet, but also I've set it to like really fast runs only. So it's trying to build up a predictive model at the moment. I don't know about these batch sizes. with these mini batches. We'll see what it's doing here.
Yeah, I guess I see what you mean when I asked you a couple days ago, and you're like, yeah, don't worry too much about the policy stuff because it's like you mentioned, it's like not very complicated
Really
on
not, right?
to set up this one. I mean, I think I only spent like an hour or two kind of messing with it, and then
Really not that
it was
hard.
able to start training.
It'll be less than an hour or two once you get better. It'll take you 20 minutes.
Sure.
We'll see. So, did you see the carb stuff I've been doing?
I haven't been able to really follow it throughout today. So, kind of were? I know you said you were like redoing the math, but can you dive like a little bit as an explanation or catch me up a little bit?
Yeah, so is this the good one? Yeah, so this is basically a full solve of a synthetic hyperparameter tuning task with the
Okay.
cleanest progress curve you've ever seen on a hyperparameter sweep.
Yeah, I mean, it looks pretty nasty to me.
That like typically it's just like all over the frickin' place. So this is like consistent improvement. And
Yeah.
then these points here, these are resampled points. These are resampled Pareto optimal points. So it's checking its work. This is
That looks
you see
massively different from like the curves that I have.
it starts right here. You can see it starts off with really fast runs, and then it gets confident, and it just very quickly goes to very long runs. Because in this case, that's what gives you perf. So you see right around here, it gets this last perf bump.
Yeah.
It's got hyperprems very latched on very quickly. The optimal. There are a couple small quirks where it doesn't get everything quite perfect, like lambda, for instance. For some reason, it has lambda too high up until the very end. But it pretty much just gets everything very quickly, with a few small exceptions. And this is the Pareto front. You can see there are like a few misses, but out of 200 runs, it's basically a perfect Pareto front with a few misses over here. So yeah.
So on a go forward basis, when I'm kind of working more on the science side stuff,
The stuff I did today would be absolutely hard as fuck. This took like most of what I knew.
understood.
This is to give you an idea. The carbs hyperparam sweep algorithm has 3 different Gaussian processes that are used for various things. It has several probabilistic reweightings and several kind of weird space transformations for various types of parameters, and 2,000 lines of code that probably should be around 700 lines of code. So I redesigned like half of the math on this algorithm based off of just like staring through the paper for a very long time.
Sure.
First of all, I fixed their space transformations. That was kind of the initial thing that got me started. A lot of their candidate sample filtering I replaced with clamping. I got rid of this search term entirely based off of some analysis I did. I completely changed this acquisition function clamping thing. I replaced this with a completely different function. And there were a few other changes as well. So yeah, like this is a whole new algorithm at this point.
That works.
We'll
better.
see how well it transfers to the real RL tasks. But the original algorithm fails a very basic synthetic task, and the new one crushes it.
Why would it fail a basic task?
There are lots of issues with the algorithm.
How do we
And if you look at this,
chat?
here's the thing that doesn't make sense, right? They say that this is like really good and this crushes all these benchmarks, but if you look at the RL, all these different algorithms, including carbs, lose to ASHA. ASHA's a really shit algorithm.
That's what the SH stands for.
No, it's basically Asha is
Asynchronous
it's
successive
Asha is literally
halving
just a random
algorithm.
search with adaptive compute. So
Yeah, I
like
see that.
you can you can do like an upper bound on Asha just by doing like the number of random search trials that Asha is going to do for the full number of time steps.
So like, is Hebo any good, or is that like
Yeah, Hebo's
old?
good, but Carbs is built on Hebo, so Carbs should be better than
Oh,
Hebo.
okay. So
Lower is better
Hebo
here,
2.0.
so Carbs is better, and then Carbs is better.
So those these they don't have the GitHub for like the testing, do they? They don't have that code available.
They sent me some of it, but the thing is, it's really slow. They ran this like at massive
Yeah,
scale.
yeah, I bet it. Yeah, exactly.
So, but the thing is,
That
because they ran this at massive scale, look, all of their experiments were at least 100 times slower than ours. Actually, like a
Yep.
1,000 times slower for a lot of them.
Yeah.
So my expectation is, even though they have a fair number of GPUs, we're actually going to run more experiments than they are on like 2 GPUs because our stuff is so fast, which is kind of cool.
Right. Well, it makes sense too. Some of
Which means
these
we get
things are
better
not.
results, right? We're able to actually test stuff properly.
Which things can't we test on there?
All the tasks they use are slow.
Are there any things that are not going to be testable using a Puffer native environment?
No, we'll just test like Puffer native versus original carbs, and we'll be good.
So those particular, it doesn't matter to test on those particular tests
No,
that they've tested on.
no, they just chose some standard RL tests that run 5,000 steps a second.
Hmm.
Doesn't matter at all.
It'd be nice to have direct comparison.
We'll just test original carbs on our environments, right?
Yeah, yeah, you can.
It doesn't matter.
But well, it's potentially maybe application specific.
Nah. 100%.
Nah.
Well, again,
Look
look,
at them.
these are still very short runs. This is Pong is without frame skip, and we're only doing like this was 14 million or whatever. So
69 runs. Let's go.
we'll see if it does it in 200. If not, I'll up the budget a little bit.
Yep. Is this
See.
the exact same setting that you were just using for?
Yeah,
Okay.
same setting minus a different total time step config, and then breakout
Okay.
has a larger budget because breakout takes longer. So we'll see. We'll see how this does. It's a little iffy because some of these tasks are very like seed dependent and stuff. So we'll see how it does on these, but it should be interesting. Linky,
So-
am I like totally missing that there's a bunch of complicated stuff I'm not anticipating with a cluster?
Linky, talk, please.
Yeah.
The
The
answer is
worry,
yes.
sorry, my kid's gonna be loud. The worry is scale,
Yeah.
honestly, because look at all the little problems you're having with like 6 boxes.
Well, the main
You're
problem I'm
talking
having with
about
six
almost 10
boxes is
times
shit microcode, to be fair.
that. I wouldn't say fully 100%. I
There are
mean,
some
you're also
changes,
gonna
by the way.
ideally.
They're all going to be air cooled, so we're not going to have to deal with broken water coolers.
That's good.
That's probably good when you have that many machines, honestly.
Hmm.
Yeah, desktops, really, layout's gonna be a pain.
It's
So you're
just
gonna have to
it's
figure
one
that out.
giant. It's just along one wall.
Yeah, but you're also gonna have to verify on every box that your air is flowing the correct way, and you want to split it into a hot aisle.
He said the guy's gonna do that.
I think we should be. I mean, we're gonna we have like we'll have pretty good AC in there and ventilation.
It doesn't matter. I mean, imagine if you have every fan pointing in the same direction and you just have a row of boxes
I
down
think
the
they
center
point
of a
back.
room.
You need to have a like probably a airflow that's sweeping the hot
Yeah, we might.
the hot air away, and cooler air that's flowing in through the front.
You're going to have enough fans and enough boxes in there to actually affect the total room current, like air circulation.
Well,
Keep that in
depending on
mind.
depending on
Okay.
what kind of a room it's in.
I will go through it and look at the layout it
Um,
suggested.
Also, think about network redundancy.
I could get
Um,
a backup with Starlink if we need it.
I think that's a good idea.
I don't.
yeah,
The one thing is I don't know if we can get 10 gigabit there, because it's like it's on a farm. So I don't know if we can get like 10 gigabit to there, or if it's going to be one. We'll see.
here's the thing, like, do you imagine giga do you imagine gigabytes going through it in a short amount of time? Like
We might just
realistically,
put
what
some
you
monitoring on there and yell at anybody that's doing too much logging.
well, yeah, there is that. I think that's smart, but then it might even be wise to say, how about you look at a network attached storage for all of them and just partition that off to each machine,
I
and
really don't
then
want
you
to
can
do. I
have
really don't want to do shared file system for these machines. It's a pain in the ass.
That's fine. I was gonna say you're gonna have to set up logging on each individual
Oh
machine
no!
though.
So for that, we'll do something for that.
The question is what?
Well,
And
Well,
now
those can
you're
just be installed
expecting
over the local network, right? That's like Ansible or something.
um, maybe.
okay. I'm sorry, I just dropped off the face of the earth.
And just Ansible or something for like just like
Oh,
loading
logging.
images onto all of
Yeah.
them.
Um,
We just like I spend some time making sure you got a good base image, and I just flash it onto
yeah,
everything.
you
Uh,
can automate that all you want. Really, what I mean is, first of all, setting up a log server, you're going to want that. You're going to want some central point. That way, like,
Mhm.
you can't expect to get logs from a machine that's down. So before it goes down, at least have it send off, like, oh shit, I'm panicking.
Yeah,
That box should have like electrical segregation from the rest. You want that to be the last one that goes down. Um, the reason why I'm pro, like, I'm not saying run everything off of like shared storage. What I should say is you should have a shared storage for a few reasons, one of which is it'll make automating the process of installing way easier. Um, Passing files between boxes, like you need to say, hey, this group of 10 boxes need to do this specific thing. Now you can just iterate over all the boxes with one command from one file space.
yeah. It's just when you
Things
give
like
people shared storage access, they fuck up shared storage access.
I agree.
I've seen this happen in every academic cluster ever, and it's just fucking cancer. It's so bad.
Yeah, maybe like a pseudo like root
Maybe.
administration or maintenance. Um,
I
Trying to
mean,
think,
can I
have you
literally
given any
just like?
thought?
You don't even need that to flash images, though, right?
well, you don't want to. You do not want. You want
I mean,
images that.
you can network boot, so you don't even need like a whole network attached storage, but ideally you have something on the network that says like, hey, this is an image you can just network boot from.
You
Either
know.
that or you're gonna go to each and every box with a flash drive and
Well, no,
manually
not
do
a
it.
flash drive. I was hoping to just load. Can I not just load the image onto the boxes over the network or something? And Ansible will take care of that.
Yeah, but you're talking about like operating systems, not just like software.
That's gonna. I don't know. That's
Okay,
You're
gonna.
talking
I
like
don't know how to set
low-level
that up.
access to a machine.
Yeah, I don't know how to set that up. We will see. What state are
That's
you
gonna
in,
be.
by the way?
Missouri.
Missouri. I think that's far.
What state is this in?
Missouri, nah. I don't know where
What's the?
Missouri is. Me, big, very
It's
stupid.
in the middle.
To the middle?
Yeah, north of
Yeah.
Texas, and then go to the right a little bit. I'm like right above Louisiana.
You want a
US?
map of the
No.
United States, not just
Me,
Missouri.
very stupid. Where is states in my own country?
I'm not even
Texas,
asking about the capital.
Louisiana. Go north of
Okay.
It's just a
Louisiana.
meme, man.
That's not terrible. Okay, it's gonna be in Maryland, so technically, if everything goes to shit, I can just fly you into Maryland and pay you for however long it takes.
Now you're in the spot that I don't know. Where's Maryland?
Joseph, what? Are you guys serious right now? Like,
Yeah.
RL bros, me
Listen.
geography.
like,
Listen,
this
I
is a meme for
know.
TikTok Zoomers, but it should not be a thing here.
I know Louisiana up to
Nobody knows where
Minnesota
those states are.
and to
Okay,
the
nobody
west.
knows where the
I
states in the
don't
middle
know.
I agree, no one cares, but
Dude, well, you have to realize I grew
are.
up in Texas. I was born in
I've been doing
Nebraska.
this all day. I just recoded an entire complicated ass hyperparameter algorithm in a day. It's like fuck off.
yeah.
No, I don't know where the states are.
I know where the big states are. That's all that matters.
Okay, yeah. So there should be central logging. There needs to be central
Yeah.
a log server that things automatically report to, so you can go to one place to get all the logs.
That's probably good,
Well,
though.
the
We gotta
great
be
thing is,
careful with bandwidth.
You need to okay. Well, you need to figure out the bandwidth first and foremost, then, because that's going to be crucial. Otherwise, it's unusable. You can't have 40 people running.
Well, hold
40
on. It
experiments.
should be. I should be able to put
this
10
is
gig Ethernet.
see, this is a slippery slope when I come to think of things, because then I'm like, why don't I own, a self-hosted version of like
It's not a slippery.
Wannabe or
It's
Nocturne or whatever it is
I
you're
think a lot of
using?
these they try to charge you out the ass to self-host.
Well, you can find like data plotting things like that you can just. My point is that you
There's
can
no point. The
self-host,
thing is,
then
there's
you
no
don't
point
have
in
to.
self-hosting it because it's not
Agreed.
going to be any faster, and none of the data is private.
It won't be
So we don't
better,
care.
and it'll be a pain in the ass to deal with.
We're not in this. We're not in the
No,
security business. We're in the RL
it's not the
business.
security business. It is quite literally your outbound throughput. Do you want to send your gigabytes worth of data to
That's
plot to
fair.
1G through your internet, or do you
Well,
want
the
it locally
alternative
where
though
you
is I
have your
just like
hire?
I do
He's right.
I do a very, very small amount of bandwidth optimization on PufferLib, and then it's gonna just be sending out like, a kilobyte a minute or whatever.
Yeah. No.
If you
Linky's
get
right.
a firewall and layer 3 switches, you can just set bandwidth limits.
You need a switcher. You need a good switch, like a gigabit switch.
Well, if you're talking about like structure, you want every box to have 2 Ethernet ports. You want both,
Two.
that way you have redundant lines to a set of 2 different switches that are pretty much together, configured in a stack, and then both of those talk to a firewall through, again, redundant lines.
Right.
I think I only have the way it's getting wired at the moment, there's only one Ethernet to each.
And it should not go through a consumer grade router either. It needs to go through a proper.
Well, no, you could get away with a
Bro, we don't want to
PF
get
box.
we don't want to get away. Like, you have to picture a use case where there are
Okay, it
multiple
is
boxes
It's
doing
really
agreed.
multiple things.
It's really not that
It
crazy.
is.
This is not like insane internet uptime reliability. Like as long as the boxes stay alive, they'll just reconnect to Neptune or 1B whenever. So that's not a big issue. We're gonna have a UPS so
There
that they
is
don't
that.
actually go down from power surges or like outages, like short outages. There's a generator as well, so we're fine
Oh,
there.
okay. Good.
The only
We're
thing is
getting you a
like we're not gonna have
firewall.
crazy bandwidth. We're really not gonna have crazy bandwidth, and we're not doing crazy multi-machine stuff.
I would
So it's
I would
really
count
not
on.
that bad.
Okay, well,
We're getting you a firewall because you can
Yeah, that's
build one
fine.
really cheap since you don't like a 16 gigabyte RAMs on a firewall. That's insane. Like I think 4 gigabytes of RAM and 4-core CPU. It's either a 2-core or a 4-core CPU, and it runs literally my network.
So yeah, we just get a little
A
network bus. That's fine.
low budget machine, flash PF Sense on it.
That's fine. That's the budget will be fine on this. The machines are going to be about 225 grand, I think, for all
So
40.
that's a significant amount.
Yeah.
It is worth spending money to invest properly in potential for the future as well. It's definitely worth doing correctly
Yeah.
and well the first time.
And if it's complicated,
Now,
we can fly. We'll fly Link, yeah.
Flying leaky out is not gonna necessarily solve the problems
Does
that need to be solved in the planning stage,
We
right?
cannot throw one Link at it and be done.
You can't throw one leaky at it and be done. Do you have people to help you set this stuff up too? Or are we gonna have to
The
do it?
wiring and stuff, yeah. I was gonna set the machines up.
You're gonna do them all? Oh,
if you
it's gonna
need
take
some
a long
help,
time, like a really long time, probably.
I mean, it shouldn't be that bad. It's gonna be annoying to figure out how to set up the Ansible script to like flash everything and to make sure I actually get the base image right. But physically putting the machines in the racks is not that bad.
that's not bad. Neither is really wiring it. I do agree. The worst thing's going to be
It'll take me a few days.
I've personally never used Ansible, but
Well, I'm not tied to that. If there's something better.
We could
well,
use
yeah,
a
Ansible has
monitoring tool.
playbooks, and I hear great things about it. I've just never used it. But ideally, you get a script set up so every machine is literally like a clone. It makes everything easier to work with.
We just use Prometheus as well to monitor.
And then, are you still married to Debian? Have you thought about switching?
We're probably gonna switch to Ubuntu.
I'm assuming
Sounds good.
still using containers for everything.
Yes, that's happening still.
Do you plan on getting more fancy with your containers? You're gonna have to upgrade from everybody gets the same container right when you log in. You're gonna need like you
No,
can't
not
have
really.
everyone share one
It's
username.
literally because we're not gonna do. The goal isn't to be time sharing machines, right? That's a pain in the ass, and that like just pisses people off. The goal is we're gonna have 40 boxes. People are gonna be allocated the number of boxes that they need, and that's gonna be that.
Sounds good. As long
Like,
as
yeah,
not doing it down.
technically, if you want to be more efficient with stuff, you can put Slurm on stuff. But then the thing is, like, you have to fucking put everything through a job queue system. That pisses everybody off and makes it harder for everyone. And then you don't have
I'm not
capacity
saying
when you
job
need
queue or
it, and it's
anything.
like stupid. So it's basically just gonna be like people get, the number of nodes they need for the amount of time that they need them.
Okay. I'm trying to think how to word this. I understand you want to head more towards an assign boxes, not queue jobs. I get that. I preach into the choir here. I think that's a wonderful system. It works out. Then you can like verify capacity way easier. I understand. To say is a couple of things that need to be figured out. A, under no situation you should have people be able to escape container, which is that needs to be solved.
We don't really. We
And-
really well. You're not going to be able to solve that. We really don't care that much.
It's very useful, in fact.
Yeah. We don't give people pseudo on the main boxes so that they don't fuck with stuff. But it's just like we're not gonna have random ass people on here. And if you fuck with my servers a little bit, then you're getting kicked off. And you fuck with my servers a lot, I'm taking you to court. It's simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, no one's
Yeah.
gonna, I don't think anyone's gonna be fucking with them.
Okay, then, I mean, you're probably not going to go for user grouping, blah blah blah,
Well,
verifying.
We would
What was your-
we might do something so that you can only SSH to your boxes. That shouldn't be too hard to figure out.
What were you gonna suggest, Linky, or say at least?
Well, that's why I was asking, like, the whole Docker container situation and all that, because sorry. If that were the case, why don't you just, if you're already saying people are signing paperwork, have an account creation system semi everyone's logging in under the Puffer user, and then you can really limit, like, this user has this permission. When they open up, it spins up their container versus like someone else's.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
If we can find a way to do it simply, sure. But
Yeah.
like,
Here's
the thing
here's
is, people shouldn't be sharing the boxes really anyways, so they shouldn't have to be managing multiple different user containers on the same machine.
Right. So here's a
Yeah, but
mandatory thing.
I just imagine a world where I have a lien key at Puffer box, and then
Yeah,
what
if
I
there's a simple
do,
way to do that, it's annoying because then you have to go into each box you're gonna assign people and add them, like add users or whatever, which is kind of obnoxious.
no, you have groups assigned, you have boxes assigned to groups, and then users assigned to groups, and only users of certain group can, like, only if you're a user in a group, you can only use those subset of boxes.
If there's a
On
simple way
top
to
of
do
that,
it, then sure.
I also imagine in a perfect world where I go, okay, I was on Pufferbox 2, but now I'm lean key logging into Pufferbox 5, and then all the configurations are essentially the same. But that's also getting like really into Active Directory, blah, blah, blah. And I'm not going to sell you on that because that is
Sure.
hell in a handbasket.
You can set that up however or whatever. I think more pressingly or more pertinent to the operation as you imagine it, Joseph, is a one-stop shop or a view or a dashboard or something that displays what is going on each box in a glance and who is assigned to the boxes.
A dashboard's easy to do.
Or whether or not they are, occupied or basically it doesn't have to say who it is, right? But they could be invisible to people who they're not, or whatever a solution is. But a one-stop shop for monitoring in that fashion and for the assignment, so that you can see what's available, what's going on at a glance, instead of having to. I mean, it's pain enough going through the boxes currently to determine these things. So scale it up is going to be much more painful. If you assign multiple boxes to a team, they probably don't want to be going through that either. They'll do it, but it's it's quite tedious and doesn't need to be, I don't think.
The goal is that it's just like, yep, sign this paper, download Tailscale, yep, you're in.
Exactly.
Enjoy. It's supposed to be like, the thing is, everything with Puffer is supposed to be the easiest damn stuff you've ever done. That's
Right.
what Puffer gives you. It's the easiest damn thing you've ever done. We take RL, which is this impossible curse thing, and everything, including the infrastructure, is the easiest damn thing you've ever done. That's the goal
I
of Puffer.
completely agree. It needs
You missed the point where the easier on the end user, the harder on the management. That's that
That's
dichotomy.
okay. I deal with all the bullshit anyways.
Well, you're not going to be able to deal with it if you have, like, actively 40
I
different
mean, going
boxes, right?
I mean, it's
six.
very like
Let's
it's the
just
thing is, yeah, 40 boxes if you look at it that way. But if I have like 20 users and I have two people doing dumb shit, I can tell these two people to stop doing dumb shit.
Sure, but
Yeah.
then you have 4 users that don't know how to do X and 5 users that have this problem or that problem. You know,
It's okay. I think
it
I'm gonna
doesn't
have more
scale.
problems. Like the more shit I like put on these things, the more problems I'm probably gonna have. Like I think we're gonna do basic logging, right? We're gonna make sure we have clean images. We're not gonna do Debian because we had to use the stupid unstable packages anyways. When I have Ubuntu on this machine right here. It's been nice and stable. So we're gonna just learn from the small cluster and fix a few things, streamline. We're gonna get AMD chips. We're not gonna deal with that shit, and it's gonna be like at least substantially easier than before.
Can I make a request and just
Mhm.
say, can we neuter Ubuntu of the snap package?
There are no snap packages. We're not using snap.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. Can we just remove, can we
It's a
neuter the
minimal
image
install.
that
We
you'll
do
be
like
using?
Ubuntu minimal install
Okay. All right.
without all the garbage.
That's big wins then. Back to the basics. Firewall, switch. Do you know how many boxes? If it's more than 48, you're definitely going to need 2
40.
switches.
40
So you said they
boxes.
will have redundant power or no?
They
Yes.
have. There's a UPS that can keep them up for a minute while the generator kicks on.
Okay.
It's
So
a
there's
big
gonna
ass. It's a big ass generator that's not just for the boxes. It's gonna power adjacent buildings and stuff.
Gotcha. So one plug though for each,
One plug
and
for
the
each.
plug is running to the UPS then.
Yeah, which will keep them on long enough for the generator to kick in, and will
So there's a
also smooth power.
pretty big UPS. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
I
Yeah.
am just going to say this because you're going to need 2 switches. Holy shit, are they expensive?
What?
You're going to need switches, or a switch, I should say, a 48 port managed gigabit PoE plus switch with 4 10 gig SFP plus up, $659.
That's nothing. That
Yeah,
that's.
okay, whatever. That's fine.
I thought you were gonna say 16,000. You know,
We don't care. That's fine.
650 is fucking nothing. Like literally not
Do you want
even.
me to price out some brocades?
Like get good quality parts that aren't gonna
That's
fucking
fine.
fail,
If
and
you
that will
tell me it's
actually
16
work.
grand, I'm gonna say fuck off. But
Right. Don't, and obviously we don't need like super enterprise grade stuff either, right? It has to be, above hobby grade.
yeah, we don't
It
need
has
this
to be
shit that's
sufficient.
marked up 10x for no fucking
Right.
reason.
Yeah,
We don't need
exactly.
garbage.
Don't pay the rip off prices.
We got good prices. I'm pretty happy with the box prices as well. They upgraded the motherboards, so we're doing workstation class motherboards and such. So that adds a little bit, but they're still pretty good. It's gonna be about 5.5 a box. That's with 5090s. Those are 2 grand cards, right? That's with, I looked at it and the markup is only, I think that the final markup is going to be like 1,000-ish per box. So it's not bad.
Sounds about right. Linky, this is like
With a
this is like
3-year
a house
warranty.
that young people would buy. Like this is the price of a house. So, hardware to support a house, like hardware that you want to last and work correctly, etc.
I mean, it
Why the
is and
fuck
it
are you
isn't, right?
asking
Like
me?
in the scheme,
Bro,
it's like,
just get
yeah,
a
it's a
firewall and
pretty
a
penny
layer 3
personally,
switch.
but like in the scheme of things, this is a pretty small amount of hardware for an AI company to get. Like we are getting a lot more compute than a lot of companies have, for a lot less money because it's RL spec'd. Like if people would buy like 40, like companies are gonna go buy 40 H100s, and that right there is 800 grand, not including the machines, right?
Yeah, it's
Um,
extremely efficient. I was trying
Yeah,
to
it's very, very
impress
efficient.
upon Leaky the scale of it.
I
Obviously,
mean, this is not
compared
crazy, right? Like, this is a lot right now, but I like all I gotta do is get Puffer to 5 clients, and that's 50K a month coming in
Yep.
at least. So it's like, in the scheme of things, it's like it's not
Take the price out
ridiculous.
of it. I don't even care about that. Honestly, like in the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot of machines. It's a small business's
Yeah,
worth
it's like
of
a small. It's not
just
ridiculous.
high end, but machines.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Linky, look for parts appropriate to do that.
No, just get a layer 3 switch. I'm not gonna play parts picker here because
Why not?
I mean 10 gigabit,
You want
1
Joseph play
gigabit.
parts picker? He doesn't do networks.
I'm not paying for it.
I know you're
Point blank.
not.
It's fair.
You like my advice is firewall, layer 3 switch. All of those get plugged into machines. At least one line to each machine is what it's sounding like. Um, that'll give you about as much management as you need. It'll give you the ability to set up your subnets, VLANs, VLAN tagging, like routing. Like that's pretty much network side what you need. All the other fancy crap is like if, ands, or, and buts. You're getting a PDU.
So I gotta look into all this shit and see how complicated it is.
Yeah, and just take one. It doesn't even have to be a good box. One of the high end ones. Get a shit box, put it in there, call it the management machine, and
I mean,
say like only
if I
certain.
get that and I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, like, can I get you SSH to the box and pay you to set this stuff up?
Yeah,
Okay, cool. So I like worst case scenario, I'm still covered. Right.
yeah. I would
Well,
need more than likely need sudo,
Yeah, of course, sure,
which
whatever. That's
that'll
fine.
be fine.
That's fine.
And then I would turn the log server into just a management box, which would be a log server, and it has like network, like I guess like network installed packages, so I can actually like run a quick sweep and go, here are the local IPs of these machines. Let me SSH in from the management.
if you're gonna be using it, if you're going to be an administrator of it, it might be smart to
I don't even care if he like takes
pick
sudo away from me after, like I don't
pick the
care.
right.
Just
It
getting
might
it
be
set up
smart
and
to
running.
pick the right parts, right, to make it proper, so that you
Alright,
do
I'm
not
gonna
have
hop off.
to fix.
See you,
jamming.
There you go.
Spencer. Look, I'm gonna look at it, and if I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, I'll just I'll just do
Yeah,
I'll just whatever your normal
I'll
rate is. So
advise
I'll
as
get
much
you.
as I can.
My degree of concern is high still.
As long as you can get so far as a VPN with me on it,
Yeah.
everything connected, like you plug the firewall in, that will be your router. You get a DHCP server running on that. They do it automatically.
Exactly.
And then connect that to the switch, and then the switch to every other machine in there, and you can just, I can VPN into the network. I
Yeah,
can
I can
set
manage that at least. So
a ton
it's
of.
like if I don't know what I'm doing, we're covered. It's fine.
I can even go through and set up like static IPs within your local network. That way you can always expect these boxes to be on. Like,
I don't know if we
wouldn't it
really
be
need
great?
static. I think Tailscale, if we just use Tailscale for it, we're kind of covered with that.
Yeah, it gives you like a local
You pay per
DNS.
user, not per box, so it's like whatever.
Here's what I'm trying to accomplish though, tail scale. If the box is hung and the tail scale service on that box died, can I still access it locally through VPN? And if that's the
Yeah, so
case,
we
it
got to
would
make
be
sure that
really
works.
lovely if box 28 was in 192.168.128. That's all I'm
That's
saying.
fair. Well, if the box is hung, it would be nice to figure out a way to remotely reboot the damn things if they're like hard
That
cracked.
is a mandatory.
That's the main thing
Are
that's screwy.
It must be mandatory.
there are scuffy ways to fix that, and then there are expensive ways to fix that.
Well,
So
you
expensive
power-
would be an actual power outlet, like worst case scenario, all machines are set to when AC power is detected to turn on, and then you could just toggle the actual power to the machine. The scuffy way is installing something to hijack the button press. You just
So-
short the two pins for a moment and it turns on. A relay can do the job, but then you're doing that scuffy work on every, and yeah.
The scuffiest one is the the box that presses the button.
I mean, a PDU would be wise.
Well, the
Power
thing is, if you have to
distribution.
short it's the pins, you have to fucking do that on every damn box.
Well, you
Power
can
distribution
if
unit
every
would be
box
wise.
is if every box is set up to actually turn on when AC power is detected, I believe is generally what Dell names the option.
Yeah,
is
these are standard
when-
outlets though, so like we'd have to have. I don't know.
Yeah, you can have a surge protector between it that allows you to say the surge protector has 10 plugs on it. Then you could just say plug one,
Maybe we can
disconnect
do
power
something
to
like
that
that.
plug, and then
already
reconnect it.
it's massively jank.
Yeah.
That exists and is a solution for racks, by the way.
That's some jank.
Yeah, it can work, but yeah, a PDU would be smart, and a network connected PDU, of course.
Yeah, the remote restart I can't really help because that's like I've not had to do. I have server grade, like
So it needs to be
I have
again
iDRAC.
on a power distribution unit so that you can manage the power.
Yeah, but what happens is you go look at the server grade ones, and you see what they charge just for the putting it in a freaking server factor.
No, it's
Watch this. It's like
Are you talking the giant rack batteries?
you just go like, oh look, we can go. Why does this one start $400 more? I'm sure that it won't go up way more than $400 more when I click on it, right? Let's see. We can do Pro RS. Where's the thing? Configure. Oh, let's see. Yeah, so this is a server unit. And then we do. Oh, look, just the Rails, okay. Then we do. Oh, they got these on the website already. That's cool. Oh, it doesn't even have a 4090 option. Isn't that weird?
And here's the
It
kicker.
probably doesn't fit in the fucking server rack. So we're at 3,700 for a garbage machine with a 4070 in it.
Here's the kicker: is that's pretty much the desktop just dropped into a server.
Exactly, and we're at 4,600.
So now why we're not doing that?
So we're at 5,000 with a garbage. And this is actually not as bad as I thought it would be, to be fair. But I don't think this thing fits. I don't think this thing fits the. But this is still a workstation motherboard, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that is literally.
It doesn't even have the freaking feature to. It's not even going to network boot.
Correct. Well, no. I mean, desktops can network boot. Like anything can network boot.
When they're crashed?
Oh, that. Well, yeah, that's
Yeah,
we
you're fucked.
come,
So
yeah,
I
we
don't
come
like. There's
full
not really
circle
a
back
point
to
then.
the.
There's really not a point of putting them in this form factor, is there?
Outside of just static airflow and managing
There's
your
no point in putting it in that
I
form
mean,
factor
like all
for
this
what
does
you're
that is
is
doing.
correct.
all this does is makes it harder to sell in a few years.
I would not put them in those.
Like you can the desktops you can sell those at half price in like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
Slot space is an issue, which it probably isn't. It sounds like.
I'm still waiting for you to retire one of the Intel boxes.
Yeah, send those over. What the fuck is this? Like
It'll yeah.
starting at $28,000.
Yeah, don't.
Tiny
Probably
box
don't.
is I think 25 grand.
I mean, it better be really, really, really good for that.
I think you just buy a tiny box.
Yeah, there's
Their
There's-
desktops
there's
are
a-
pretty damn good though.
Yeah.
You just do 5090. You do and then 50X. You do. Oops. They do have an air cooler, so I don't know what this is on.
Yeah, do you at least save some money that way?
What?
Going from water cooled to air cooled?
Maybe a little. 4800. And let's see, so there's a few other things on this. But I'm forgetting a couple things because it was higher than this. Oh yeah, it's the workstation motherboard. Goes up a little.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, because we
Get
do
that
this.
Windows trash out of here.
We do, what is it, this? Yeah, this thing. Got their 4090s quoted. They actually
Those
don't even have
beautiful
them
lights
quoted on
that
the
nobody's
workstations yet.
ever gonna see.
I got a quote at the very least. I gotta pay for it on Monday, so we reserve it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, does Razer have their laptops out yet?
I can check real quick.
Let's see. I need a new I have not, like, my laptop is dying.
My laptop is dying.
It's like you can't get it. Nope, they don't have these yet. So I keep checking back whenever these are out. I don't even think they have laptops at the moment.
$4,000 for a laptop.
Shouldn't be 4,000. Fuck that.
You could buy cars for
This
$4,000.
This one is what's this 2,300? This is 2,300 for a laptop, a 16-inch 4070 Quad HD 240 hertz. So like the thing is, Razer's actually gotten good with their pricing. You can't really find this for a better price. You actually can't find this anywhere. You can't find anything comparable cheaper.
Another Razer laptop. It's got a 4090, an i9 14900.
Where do you see
14
this?
gen CPU. I'm on Amazon.
Those aren't out yet, so I don't know how those are
OLED.
there.
4090?
Yeah, those aren't like 4090. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, not 5090. But it's also it is a 400, but it's not a K, so it's up for debate if chips are flimsy.
I probably won't go. I'm not gonna get a 4090 laptop. I'm probably gonna get like a 4070 or something that won't be on literal fire.
Yeah, and to be fair,
I don't need a
like,
$4,000 laptop.
also probably a good call to ditch Intel.
Yeah, we're gonna do AMD from now.
I mean, don't give me. Go
I've heard
ahead.
Intel's been struggling.
Dude, they screwed us over so bad with our cluster. I gotta do those microcode updates maybe tomorrow. I also have to design my gym tomorrow though. So We'll see. The facility contains two things. The facility contains servers, and the facility contains a gym.
Are you gonna live there?
Yep.
And let me tell
It's
you,
like
when you
it's
find a
a
girl and
server
bring
gym
her over,
warehouse.
when you find a girl over, nobody's gonna be able to hear anything coming from inside that place.
That's
So.
the. I mean, hey, that's the freaking litmus test. Okay. You don't like the server warehouse, the server gym warehouse. Fuck off.
I heard you like white noise to go to sleep too. I'll be right back.
Nah, that stuff's like way on the other side. It's like way on the far wall. It'll be fine.
What happened with Intel in the cluster? Curious.
They ship 2 consecutive generations of broken ships that just seg fault.
Oh, that sounds bad.
Yes, yes, it is very bad to ship 2 generations of consecutive broken ships. I'm a little confused why this thing is so damn confident. I guess it's because I'm penalizing it from doing... I'm kind of penalizing it for not having confident predictions, huh? I might have to look at that. There might have to be a better suite of synthetic benchmarks. We'll see. It's just annoying because Carb is actually not that fast to run. It takes a few seconds per prediction. Tough to optimize. Gamma and Lambda. Really hasn't explored very much. To start. I'm trying to think if I shouldn't be penalizing. There's a local improvement term and then there's a global improvement term. They're both at the moment, they're conservative, meaning that they're subtracting their uncertainty from their prediction. But maybe I should only be penalizing uncertainty on the global scale. Which would then allow it a little bit more freedom to explore on the lower end. Because it's like, it's too scared to explore. It's like too scared to explore certain hyperparameters. Like, this is not amazing. We'll see what this
Did you ever
does.
see that like hyperparameter fractal GIF? And let me see if I can find it.
The PBT or something.
It always made me a little bit afraid of trying to understand hyperparameters.
Oh, I think I know. It's, yeah, the weird thing where it's like so sensitive.
Let me see. can put it in general if you want to see it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It's like there's a pretty clear boundary at like the macro scale of like, but then if you zoom in on the hyperparameters, it's just sort of like an infinitely,
Weird
like
thing.
it's like a fractal, right?
Funny. We just try to hyperparameters go burr.
Yeah. Oh, although, you know, I guess it's important to note that what they're zooming on there is like a boundary, right? It's so maybe you don't, you know, need, hopefully you're not like exactly in a boundary between not working and working.
Oh, this? Yeah, I've
That
read
kind of
this.
thing.
I've seen this.
I think remind me not to go to SF. I think I'm gonna probably queue one new one on this, and then go to sleep. Tomorrow, I might do the microcode at least tomorrow. We'll see. I'll lay out the gym, order that equipment, set up the payment for prototype machine, and a couple other small things. The goal for next week, so there are going to be some academic labs, there's some client work, and then I really want this hyperparameter thing to be like the first major science side thing that we get working solidly. The goal is that when you launch experiments, right, when you launch a hyperparameter sweep, you should be pretty damn confident that it's found your best hyperparameters. Yeah, like you should be confident that the issue is not hyperparameters after running a sweep. So, you know, whatever result you get, you're getting the best hyperparameters you can find. That's the best version that you're getting with your current algorithm architecture, etc. Because right now there's this huge amount of sensitivity to hyperparameters, and like it almost doesn't matter what your architecture or algorithm are because you still have no idea whether it's good or not because of these stupid hyperparameter sensitivity.
Yeah, that definitely makes a lot of sense.
I think this is like the biggest bang for your buck first problem to look at. It's kind of a hard problem. And I wish that I like one of the baselines would be better. Like I looked at Asha, but it's really it can't be as good as it's shown in the paper because it just can't fundamentally based on what it is. So I think that just like I think a lot of these hyperparam baselines are just weaker than they should be because they're just not tuned correctly. I don't know what to say. Like they have weird decisions and they're not set up correctly.
Yeah,
It's kind of weird that like outperforms Hebo and stuff, but like I guess for RL they're like they kind of did some additional considerations on Hebo, but then there's still some bugs and errors and stuff. I don't know, when you see 2,000 lines of code that where there should be 700, you kind of know some stuff's going to be janky and broken. So I probably should just make a better synthetic test and get better local logging for them. And then figure out if I can speed up carbs because it takes too long to run the damn thing on a test. Like really you want, like if you were to run random search, it runs instantly and you just get your experiment feedback instantly. Yeah. Random search is not a terrible baseline actually. with the way that we've implemented it now. So we will see. How's this going? It's really just not that good.
Something is wrong, maybe.
Well, yeah, I mean, looking at it, it's scared to do anything. I mean, I can just like mess with the. I can just like mess with the Scala stuff and try again. Pong is a decent one because Pong it only takes like an hour to run, and it's like a real environment and it takes like an hour to run.
Yeah.
Try this. Oops, this is actually not a. Oh yeah, no, we're good. This is on the same box.
And I'm back.
Hey, Linky. I have to go to bed.
All good.
Try
I'm
this
just
again
working
here.
on
Um,
working.
You're gonna need access control as well, Joseph, by the way.
Tail skill.
Access control, physical access control.
What do you mean?
What do I mean? What do I mean? Any data center has rules and access controls so that no incorrect people can be anywhere.
So buy a
That
shotgun.
no, I mean like a physical like cage with a lock on it.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
locked
called
building.
his house.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. A locked
Like
building.
he already
Okay.
said he was.
Yeah.
He already said he was going to be living there.
Yeah. It's a warehouse with a gym and a data center in it, basically.
I see. Well, we
It's
can talk
got
more
it's
Good
later.
got
enough.
it has room for like a small office, a pretty sizable gym, a data center, a bedroom, and a shower.
Cool.
It's a nice warehouse. Be good.
Yeah,
Have
I mean,
fun.
it sounds great. If you ever need anything, just let me know. We'll plan a trip for me to come up.
All the piping.
So, any other cool projects going on?
I mean, this has been a crazy busy week. I got GPU drive from 35K up to 250K and got them basic hyperparameter sweep stuff. I had a chat with them maybe tomorrow. I did an initial integration of intersection zoo, which is this traffic control env for MIT. We'll see how they like that. I gotta go back and forth with them. But that took quite a bit of work. I did Isaac Gym integration for a client. That seems to be working decently. I got a lot of hyperparameter sweep stuff done in PufferLib. That's what I've been doing on Science Side so far. And I reviewed several thousand lines of code from contributors.
Out of curiosity,
Basically, it's
sorry, you
working
can
all week.
continue.
Yeah.
Do you do like contract integration?
Yeah, it's right on the website, right?
Well, no, I mean like, so if let's say I had a company and I was like, cool, PufferLib up and coming, great. Let's give this a whirl. It seems like a perfect fit. Can they hire you as like contract to rework it for their purposes, and then
Yes,
after
but
contract, you guys don't?
basically, the farther you take us away from the agenda of what we're doing with Puffer, the more we charge. So
Yeah,
the base service package is for you want to use PufferLib. You're going to need a few things of integration, and you need us to like reprioritize a couple features from 6 months from now up to next week. That's like the type of stuff the base package is for, right? Extended support, reprioritization of features, a little bit of integration. If you have something that's like substantially farther away from that, that's like, farther from what we would be doing anyways, we are
would
still help
reflect.
with it, but we're gonna charge because we're not getting the code back to PufferLib, right? Because that's like a lot of the benefit is we continue to build out Puffer, so the comp has to be higher. So the base packages from Puffer are 10K for support and all the stuff that I do, and then it goes up from there.
What are your thoughts on? And I'm. This is purely hypotheticals because I don't. I'm just asking to ask. Um, if you had to rework some of PufferLib to meet a company's agenda and they had agreed on whatever price both of you deemed fit, at what point, like, do you draw a line and say anything past this point is technically the company's property and it's proprietary? Like, how do you handle those niche situations to say that like my project's open source and anybody can use the code how they deem fit, but now you're hired under a company.
Yeah, you own integration stuff, right? It's just the general stuff that benefits PufferLib, right? It's gonna stay open source. And the thing is, like as a client, you want it to be open source because it gets tested against all of the other stuff in PufferLib and maintained and tested by all the people that use PufferLib. So it's gonna be more stable. You don't have to deal with it, and it gets tested against all our environments and whatnot, right? So really, the only thing that clients should even want is the bindings and integrations for their specific stuff, which aren't useful to PufferLib, so sure, you can keep those. But again, it's like the more work that we have to spend our time doing on that side, the more the base price is going to go up. Thus far, most of what we're doing for clients is pretty darn close to what we want to do anyways with Puffer, just, reprioritized in time frame. And we're mostly looking for clients to do that at the moment. Bigger contracts will come later. But the thing is, like, by the time we get to later, right, Puffer's going to be larger and we'll probably just cover a lot of the things that people are going to want anyways. Like, by the time we have really good hyperparam sweeps and we've fixed up the algorithms and stuff, It's just more problems that are going to be easier to get working.
Yeah.
Yeah, stop sending zip files. Next time somebody sends a zip file, I'm sending them a zip bomb back.
Yeah, I mean,
You zip bomb me, I
I'm
fork bomb a
I'm
box.
surprised he used
Ugh.
zip. Just it's 40
It's
MB, so
okay, I'm
can't send
right by
it
the
raw.
box. I can go press the button.
Why is it 40 Why is it 40 megabytes?
This looks maybe a little better. We'll see how this goes.
Okay. I've got a goal in mind, Joseph. How complex is Neural MMO?
It's only one of the most complex RL environments out there.
That's not what I'm asking. With like, how many tiers of armors? Do you have multiple attack types? What are
Have you played it? It's kind of fun.
Damn.
I
Damn.
totally
Say you've never touched
It's kind of fun.
MMO3 without saying you've never touched MMO3.
You just you left control as a toggle, so you can run around, right? And let's see if I find a level 1 to fight.
Like he's actually memeing.
Okay, so now I got a shovel. I can equip the shovel. Oops, get away from me. Stop following me. I'm not interested in you, sir. Let's see. We're gonna go get some armors. Let's equip this.
It's on the fucking website?
Yeah, isn't it awesome? It runs on the
Leaky,
website.
where have you been? Like,
Yeah.
Not here, obviously. How often have I been posting in Discord?
still. I thought you were like, I mean,
I mean, I
obviously-
read most of the things,
Isn't
but
pretty
that doesn't
cool,
mean
right?
like
So like
mean
it's
it.
kind of hard though. Like you gotta be kind of smart with stuff, because if you run into a high level too early, you're kind of just dead instantly. And like this 24 will one-shot me from range. The higher level ones have bows. This guy's gonna fuck me up. Yeah, there you see.
Okay.
So, but like,
Well,
yeah, there's like, I
you
think it's like
survived.
level 20 or 30. I forget what I set it to. There's like,
took a
I think
hit.
5 tiers of armor. Here, if I just put control back on.
How many do you
This
have
is the
like
map. Like, you can see that there are all sorts of different items. All sorts of
Yeah.
different enemies. There's a bow, there's a sword. There's kind of some tech with both of them that you can use to gain advantages if you're clever. There's healing items. There are like these elemental gems that give you like Pokemon super effective, not very effective stuff.
Well, I remember when you were making it.
A lot of stuff.
What I was asking specifically is how complex, in the sense of like, you already answered one of my questions. How many tiers of armor is 5? Do you have any skills outside of combat, or is it just all like gathering based?
You level up for defeating a foe of equal or greater level than to yourself, and then you level up your harvesting ability. Like you get a certain number of harvests in each tier. Like I think it's like it's like 8 levels per tier or whatever.
Okay.
So this policy, it's kind of like, probably there's more hypercram stuff to be done, but like this policy is decent. But this policy has played, I think, 1,500 years of Neural MMO3.
Okay.
It's 75 billion
asking.
steps. It stopped improving after 75 billion steps.
Yep.
Yeah, but
You need to
it's
do a
played
sweep.
1,500 years of Neural MMO3.
Damn. So I was asking because what I've been doing is making what I call 2D top-down RuneScape
Mhm.
via terminal. So everything's terminal rendered. And I'm trying to make it as complex as RuneScape minus questing.
Yeah, RuneScape's very fucking complex. I will say,
I
as
got-
a former top 1% player.
I've already got, so I've got all combat skills working, unique attack areas based off of like what style you're using. It's weapon based, honestly. So like there is more variety that's going to come. I do have wood cutting and mining already figured out, with currently 8 tiers of trees and ores. More to
Let's
come
see
on
how it
that.
goes. It's very fucking hard to like get these things working and balanced for RL. That's a
I
good thing to
know.
be doing though.
I'm
rendering
making it
was a bitch.
massive. Granted, I have been writing it as a server and client, but I'm writing the
Yeah.
environment
Neural
with,
Mode 3 runs at 1.9, about 1.9 million steps per second on one core.
yeah, I do not expect mine to run anywhere
Especially
near
leakies.
that fast.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying
this was
is,
kind of like, I kind of wrote this environment as like a big fuck you to like all of RL environment dev to say, you can just make ridiculously complicated things very fast. My camera's frozen in a ridiculous position, isn't it? Now, why did nobody
it's
tell me?
been, it's been like that for a
That's
minute.
meme right
Why
there.
did nobody fucking tell me that shit?
Well, I
But
assume
like
that you were just happy.
I have no hopes mine's gonna run anywhere near that fast, but I did write it so the environment is using the gymnasium API just so it can be like integrated
Puffer
into
native
PufferLib,
API faster.
correct? So, and then I'll look at like Pythonizing a good portion of what I can.
It's easy. It's honestly just easier to just go straight to C.
I know. You've already said.
Like, if you look at the code for this is 2,800 lines of C.
Yeah, but you're not including Raylib in that.
It includes the fucking Raylib client, not the Raylib source.
It's like that's such an arbitrary.
Yeah, I'm not including the source for the C language
I
either.
know.
Have you done any simpler environments? It
Yeah.
might be that an MMO is
I made this one.
like. Oh, I was talking to, is it Linky?
Lean. Yeah.
Yeah, Lean. It might be if this. Have you done any other environments?
What do you mean have I done? Like, have I written
Every
any
new
environment?
programmer must go through the trial by fire of attempting to write an entire MMO and getting absolutely destroyed. Like,
I don't know
everybody
fair.
knows that.
what you're talking about because it is functional right now. Items, entities, PvP, like all combat is solved. I have two, like I would say it's near completion. There's just
So we
a
can
lack in
play.
variety.
Okay, can I pull it? We can play.
Yeah, it's playable. Are you gonna host the server?
I mean, I'd have to turn it on. Yeah, I
mean,
could
you've got the domain.
make. Yeah, I do have a sick TLD.
Yeah, no, it's playable. There's just not variety there yet. I do like that's literally what I'm working on.
Yeah.
So I'm not really concerned with that. I have made other environments, not to completion though, and a lot of what I've done in this one was based off of a hide and seek that I abandoned a while ago.
I remember that.
You should just start writing
Um,
these things in C, Linky. It's like, it's way easier than you'd think.
He's already faked himself out. So
What do you mean I've faked
If you
myself
actually
out?
look at the code and see, it's like, it's really pretty damn simple, and it's just so nice to just have everything be fast and just compile instantly and just test instantly. It's so nice.
convince yourself that it's hard, and it's not that hard.
Yeah.
It's not really that hard, honestly. I understand that. having written Java, Python, and
No, Java's shit.
like
Okay, Java is like torture. Okay. Python is fine if you don't get fancy, but everybody gets fancy.
I've kind of been fancy. I've been like trying new things and learn what I don't like about things. I've been using a lot of static methods recently.
Fancy.
For what reason? None.
Fancy.
Yeah, it's honestly I could write it in C, and I have to like learn a whole bunch of new shit that I just don't care to right now.
Hi, Janky.
Is this too ambitious trying to solve this, and am I like just screwing myself over doing this 10 million frames and not trying to get anything?
Is it too ambitious? Okay, so your test environment.
Well, I don't. The thing is, I actually don't know how many steps you can solve this environment. I know you can solve it in 20 with optimized hyperparameters.
Right. You have to pick a.
It
pick
might
an
just be
environment
that 10 is too low to really get any progress. I could
That's
probably
very
do what I should do is I could do a random sweep at 10 just to see like what you get.
Right, or you can compare to old carbs.
I don't think it'll work there either.
I am going to screenshot Joseph's face in this picture you posted, Bet, and then change all the puffer fishes in the terminal to Jay's face.
Yeah, it's a pretty good picture though, right?
Linky, fuck off.
It's a good picture. We could animate it to puff up as well. That would be good.
Put a watermark.
Why can't
anytime
you take the
insert
picture of
into the
me? Like,
terminal, you
why
just
can't I
see
have
it.
the picture of me when the camera was frozen like a month ago when I was like 190 pounds with the same body fat and fucking jacked? Okay.
You look fine. I mean, no one could tell. You know, that's not. The people don't know that's like a 6XL shirt you have on.
I think they're all mediums actually.
Rude.
Yeah, no, the Bezos shirt's definitely a medium. That polo, it's definitely a
I think they're all
medium.
mediums. I don't like him super loose.
We call those schmediums.
Okay, I don't like the way that the sweep is going, so I think I'm gonna do.
Yeah, it's not going.
Yeah, I think we're gonna just do. We're gonna do 2e7 min. We're gonna go like this, and then this should actually freaking learn something. And if this doesn't learn something, then we'll start to get concerned. We'll compare.
Bro,
to
it's
random
not
stuff.
loading. I'm not restarting my browser. It's not loading. Hurts my soul.
I mean, this is starting to do something.
Well, there may be a trend, yeah. Hopefully that's a trend.
I think some of the params are too conservative.
That could
Like this
potentially be,
is
yeah.
like these they get kind of stuck. We'll see. Okay, it's time for me to go to sleep. This has been what, 14, 15-hour day?
Streamed for 15 hours today.
I think I did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
believe it.
last couple have kind of just been chilling and checking the experiments, but we pretty much just did a full algorithm today. Like this amount of changes to carbs. This is like a full new algorithm, and I bet. I think it's going to be pretty good, and we're probably just going to have to tweak like some ranges on stuff. Maybe there would be like one small tweak. I don't know about making the local bound conservative in the algorithm. So there might be a couple small things to ablate there. But I think that we'll get something good out of this. I think we should get something good out of this.
Agree.
It should not be that hard as well to compare like we can get baselines for these things pretty easily. Like for instance, I could just do 40 million steps. Right, 40 million steps is like a minute and a half or something, and I can do Pong. I can just do random search over that, and that'll be like a baseline. There's so much stuff I can do with this. I think we still have a couple folks somehow on YouTube. All right, so
Guilty.
I'm gonna get off here. So for folks on YouTube, all this stuff is free and open source. It's on puffer.ai. I will be streaming ridiculous dev hours for the foreseeable future. So you can find me here. Start the repo on start the repo on GitHub, please. It really helps me out. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. You can join the Discord, where I guess the banner's broken, but there are 900 people in here. You can join and start doing some cool RL stuff. And you can follow me on X, where I post pretty much just straight reinforcement learning content, including guides, and there's some custom articles you can only find there as well. Other than that, I don't know if I'll be streaming tomorrow. I'll definitely be back on Monday. If I do any dev on this, I'll stream it. But I'm probably going to be laying out gem and then maybe doing microcode updates. We'll see if there's any time for anything else. Yeah, if you guys in the Discord here, if you have anything for me to review or whatever tomorrow, I can probably still do that. We'll see. I don't get to do my long run tomorrow because freaking stupid pneumonia. I think I get to start running a little bit again on Monday. We'll see. Anyways, though.